What's up, guys? I'm back here with another video for you today. This time we're doing something a little bit different. I'm doing the cassette tag, which is not usually something I do. I don't do a lot of tape videos. I don't collect a lot of them, but I do have a good handful of them. And I thought it'd be a fun little change of pace to get to do something a little bit different today. So I'm going to cut it into it because this is my second attempt at making this video. You know, I always like to have a good beer in the video. We're drinking the St. Bernardus Abbott 12, ABT 12, I think that's what Abbott means. Maybe, I might be wrong, whatever. But this is a Belgium dark beer, really good. Nice color on it, like a dark kind of really roasted caramel. Australia. It's a sipper, dude. Really good, strong beer, tastes tasty. So this was 10 questions that were proposed by a YouTube channel called Two from the Trunk, which I'm not particularly familiar with other than now, considering I'm doing his tag. I went and checked out his channel, gave him a sub. He writes more in the non-metal side of like the vinyl community here online, so that explains why I wasn't familiar with him. But regardless, I'm very excited to be doing this. I wanted to incorporate this into the tag, but I wound up not wanting to just shoehorn more black metal in because I definitely could have. But this is Ord with a Rain and Dirt that we're listening to in the background. This is a 2007 demo. Really good, kind of more raw Cascadian style black metal. I've been really into this. This is I listened to this earlier this week and I was just really hyped on it. Really good black metal. One and only demo from this project, sadly. All right, so we're going to get into these 10 questions. I think the last two were added on later by somebody else somewhere down the line, but whatever. So the first question is, why do you still collect cassettes? A big part of that is like convenience for me. So when I go to record stores, I'm a big fan of digging. You know, I really like to just go and crate dig. I like to dig through boxes and look through tape drawers just to see what I could find. I don't always do it. Sometimes I'm not in the mood, or if like I'm at Goodwill, odds are I'm not going to find anything, even though I have scored at Goodwill with some cool stuff before. Regardless, it's just not something I do at those kind of shops usually. But yeah, so at shops, I like to find random things. I enjoy the thrill of the hunt, if you want to say that. So that's kind of a big thing for me. That, and they're always kind of cheap. People don't really think tapes are worth that much, which isn't always the case. But, you know, say I want a certain album that I haven't picked up on CD yet, and I find the tape copy, you know, it's the Trouble self-titled. It's like $3. I'll buy that, and then I'll get the CD maybe eventually, or maybe I'll just keep that copy, whatever. That's a big thing for me, and that sometimes I just like to get the collector's scum element of it going, where I get the same album on 3 formats. That is like the uber dork thing that I like to do sometimes. I don't do it for a ton of things. I kind of only do it when it just happens. I don't necessarily seek it out all the time, though I do for some albums. That's kind of the only real reasons I collect cassettes still, and that sometimes you just find rare stuff for cheap, or sometimes it just pops up in person, and that's usually where I prefer to buy my music, is in person. So, that's number one. Number two is show your favorite band on cassette. So, I wouldn't call this my favorite band, but they're definitely a top 5 metal band of all time for me, and it's Sabotage, and this is the album Hall of the Mountain King. You guys have heard me mention this a million times over. I got this tape is my introduction to this band and this album. I picked it up back when I was in high school, so I don't know, I've been a fan of this album for like 10 years, a little over 10 years at this point. Which isn't all that impressive for some of you guys that have been around a lot longer than me. But I really love this album. I hold it in very high regards. As you know, it's my favorite metal album ever. Just top shelf stuff, man. Top shelf, full length, from one of the greatest bands in American metal history. Sabotage's Hall of the Mountain King is number 2. Number 3 is show your best sounding tape. So this is a bit difficult for me because I'm not really much of like an audiophile type of person. I don't really think about it very often, especially being a black metal guy. Production isn't a huge thing for me because it does sound like garbage a lot. And my two big things are metal and folk music. Bluegrass, country, I'm kind of lumping into the folk thing. And a lot of those recordings are really old. You know, Bill Monroe started recording in the 30s, things like that. they're not going to sound very good. So I don't prioritize that. Now that I want to tangent, Oxygen Destroyer with bestial manifestations of malevolence and death. So this is a really cool new death metal band with some thrashy tinges and maybe a touch of grind here and there. It's really got a really grindy attack to it. I really like this color. This nice green color on here. It's kind of coming up a little funny in the video, but it's a nice, like, vibrant crayon green. It fits really well with this band and this album, their whole aesthetic being kaiju themed. So they're always singing about Godzilla and the likes, all of the Mothras and all of the monsters in that. But I don't really watch it now, but when I was a kid, I was really into Godzilla and the whole kaiju lore. I really liked the movies. I had a bunch of the toys, and actually I think I still have a good handful of them in like a box in my basement somewhere. So just kind of knowing death metal and that mixed together, it's really, really cool. I don't listen to this super often. The kind of grindy elements put me off to an extent because I'm not a big grind guy, but it is cool to have, and I'm glad to own it. So Oxygen Destroyer is my best sounding tape that I'm going to say today. It's mixed nice and loud, and it's just violent and in your face. Number 4, what's your biggest cassette find? So, like I mentioned digging earlier, I like to do that, and I like to buy random obscure things that you don't find very often. This is Into the Halls of Extermination by Syndrome. So I have a thing for like collecting Chicagoland area bands. I grew up in Northern Illinois. I didn't grow up in the Chicagoland area. I grew up in the rural part outside of it, within like an hour and 20-ish out of Chicago. So regardless, I'm close enough to where it's basically my locality, I guess you could call it. Was my locality. I don't live there anymore. But this is a band from Highland Park, Illinois. I think it's Highland Park. I wrote it down. Yep, Highland Park. So that's an Illinois suburb, or a Chicago suburb. I think it's on the north side. I don't remember exactly. I'm not very familiar with the city. I kind of don't go there unless I really have to a lot of the time. Kind of stresses me out, especially growing up where I did. This is a really great demo, though. It's like a thrash band with some heavy death metal tinges to it. It's a little sloppy. I mean, it's a demo from '87, and it's also kind of death metal, so that's a heavy, heavy sound for '87. I mean, Scream Bloody Gore just came out, but stuff like that, you get what I mean. Sepultura was out. Not a ton of this caliber of heaviness is out, is basically my point. So I don't expect a lot from that, but this is a really, really great demo, man. I would highly recommend checking this out. If you're a fan of like Devastation from Texas, if that's kind of your thing, I would recommend this to you. Syndrome. Cool cassette find. Number 5 is show a mixtape. I was gonna show Arkham Knight 2, which is done by my buddy Brian Arkham here on YouTube, but I wanted to do something a little bit more random and obscure. This is the Mountainous Journey, a sample of the best traditional heavy metal of the first half of 2018. So this is done by a dude I used to talk to quite often here on YouTube, Lyricide17, if you guys remember him. Travis was really good stuff. I wish he still made videos. But this is number 8 out of, I can't really read that. Or maybe it's number 3. Never mind. It's definitely hand numbered out of something. It might be out of like 8, or I don't know, man. Whatever. But this is really cool. So when he sent this to me was like 2018. I wasn't that big of a traditional metal guy yet. I like traditional metal bands, but now I'm into traditional metal. So I really appreciate this more now. It's got bands like Stygian Oath and Seven Sisters, and then has a tune Flamethrower by Judas Priest, which was on the album that I can't remember the name of. It's also got Visigoth and Smolder and Chemist. So it's got a bunch of really cool stuff on it, really good traditional metal, as well as a touch of Doom here and there with like Smolder and Chemist, and those are kind of the opposite ends of Doom in their own. Really, really cool mixtape Travis made back in the day. I appreciate it. Number 6, show your best live cassette. So I don't really like live albums from metal bands, right? You guys have heard me mention that before. It just sounds like sloppy recordings of the record with crowd noise. So I don't really get the whole point of it, to be honest with you. But I do have a couple. I actually have two. And the other one I haven't shown in a collection update. So I decided to just show this one, which is Live After Death by Iron Maiden. Everybody knows this. Just a white cassette shell. But the cool thing with this one is the booklet, man. This J card looks really, really good. There's some cool photos on there, which I wish were bigger because they're kind of hard to see. But yeah, great. Mummy Eddie. So this is recorded on the Power Slave Tour, obviously, 1985, which is my favorite Maiden album. But they could have gone up through like Seventh Son, and I would have been like, there's not a bad song on here, basically. But this is a great time to have it, man. 85, Live After Death. They're 5 albums deep at this point. What's not to love? What's not to love, man? Such great tunes over and over. A lot of high energy. They're really hungry, man. Not like the Frozen Meals. They're just really hungry. Really cool, though. Live After Death. Everybody knows Iron Maiden. I don't have to show a ton of that. The next one here is number 7, which is Show a Cassette box set. I have one, so that's the only one I'm capable of showing you. So this is Hortor with La Muerta Fue Vencida. I don't know, dude. I don't speak Spanish. But this is a Mexican black metal band. This is a wooden box, which is really, really cool. So I picked this up from them off of like sending a message to their email or something, because I wanted to get some of their stuff. I broke the box because I collectively have 6 brain cells. But yeah, so there's 4 tapes that came in this box set, but I'll show you what's in it first. So it comes with these cards of the album covers, which is this one. There we go. These two, the ones I just showed you, are my favorites. Really, really good black metal from Mexico, and it's pretty cool stuff. It's raw, and it's not super heavy, but it's good black metal. I'll show you the tapes. I don't remember which order they came out in, so we're just gonna have to roll with it. So I have it's basically a demo, a full, and 2 full lengths, and then a demo comp. So the demo comp is this one, which is Dios de Dios, so unreleased demos. Yeah, definitely dub tape. Really, really cool. Just blue label on there, really nice and simple. On my first recording of this video, I can remember the name, but I think these are Xeroxed, which I didn't remember the name of because this is kind of before my time. I have this demo on CD over on my shelf behind me here. This is all the metal stuff, as you guys might know. But yeah, really cool demo comp here. Nice variation of style. Their style is pretty similar, I should say, variation on the production value. Then this one, which is a black tape with, or excuse me, a clear tape with black label, some orange writing. This is Dharma Essia de Impurenza. This one, I can honestly say I don't think I've ever listened to this. Hortor is very fast and a very heavy black metal band, which isn't always my thing when it comes to black metal. I tend to be more on the atmospheric side. I don't really get into the really aggressive stuff quite as often as I used to. But I do get in moods for it sometimes, so maybe next time I'm in that mood, I'll play this. But these two, this one in particular is my favorite Hortor release, which is Decapitation Absoluta al Falso Profetia. Or Prophetia, or Profeta, whatever. Clear tape, blue label. I don't speak Spanish. Sorry to any of my Spanish-speaking friends. Yeah, this is their demo from 2004. That's the cover. Banging. Really, really great stuff. I really, really like this album. Excuse me, I really like this demo. Like I said, it is definitely my favorite Hortor release. And then the last one from Hortor I got here, which is Ancient Satanic Rituals Are Crushed into Dust by the Sword of the Almighty Emperor. I think, so this is 2 albums on one, I think. Yes, it is a box set of several things. Yeah, so there's 2 albums on this one. which is this one and this one. Nice, again, Xeroxed green, looks really, really cool. Yeah, really enjoyed this one. I really like this band, and if you don't know them, I think you should absolutely get on it. Horford. Next, good timing, my tape just ended. Show a tape player. So let's go on over to where we are here. So this is my tape deck. Nothing super fancy. It is a Technics stereo double cassette deck. This is the tape from that Ord album, by the way, Ord demo. Yeah, flipping it over. I just tend to play out of the second side for no particular reason other than I tend to hit this button first. Yeah, double deck RST230. I don't know anything about it beyond that. I also do own some like Walkman, something like a Walkman or like an off-brand Walkman, but I think it's either my storage closet or down in my basement. I'm not digging for it. I don't know where it is. I just moved in like a few months ago, so I don't know where everything is anymore. But yeah, so that's my tape deck. Then number 9, show a cool package for cassettes. So this is a demo compilation from a band called Alderglade from Australia. I don't remember exactly what state, Providence, whatever you call it in Australia they're from, but it's really good black metal. It reminds me quite a bit of Nathan's Madrigal era Ulver. It's classy metal. Lonnie sent me this. Yeah, it's just this metal tin box with some sticker printing on the outside of the demo comp cover, and on the inside it's just like a loose tape with some miscellaneous stuff. Black tape looks pretty nice. There's some tree sap on here with pieces of a pine cone, because the box came with pieces of an alder pine cone and then like some ashes from an alder tree, I guess, or something like that. Whatever nonsense that is. But yeah, and then it came with this box, or this booklet. I can't speak anymore. Did you guys know that? I gave up on English. Yeah, nice little booklet, nothing too special, just some hard cardstock stuff. But it's a really cool packaging. It's definitely the most out there packaging that I have when it comes to my metal tape collection. So yeah, Alderglade, Extorium, Demo 1, Demo 2. I think they're both pretty good. I don't know exactly which one I prefer more. I've probably heard Demo 1 more, just because it's the first half of the tape. But yeah, Alderglade. And then lastly, show a cassette that is special to you. So, it's a bit corny, because I'm going to show you my band's album, or EP, I guess you should say. But it's special to me because it's like a commemoration of all of the work I put in high school. You know, I released this when I was 19. And this is just, it's fun, man. I did all of the graphic design in this. This is Curse Eventual Eternity by my old band Apotheosis. Yeah, I did all the graphic design on here. I designed the whole label. I wrote all this stuff on here. Yeah, some lyrics, some other stuff, a little list of all the people that were involved. So the fun part for this is it was numbered. I did the numbering, and I made 6 copies on tape like this, and they were only for people that were involved in the creation of this EP, which is kind of something I like that people do. Like some bands will have like a particular vinyl variant only for the people who are involved in the making of the album. Not 100% sure, but I thought that was a cool way to commemorate this effort. And then I designed the tape label here, which is just the album cover taken a little bit and made the logo small. On the back is the boys here. There's actually a funny story about this. So we had a second guitar player for like 2 months before this came out. And he just wound up not working out with us, and his girlfriend is behind this tree, and he is like on either side of us. I think he's on the side with Wilder there. Yeah, so she's behind there. His ex-girlfriend is back there. Just a bit of weird lore from this band. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed this a lot. It's a great commemoration. of my efforts at the age that I was. And you know, it's like the most important metal release I've been a part of up to this point. And I do have some other things in the works, but I'm not gonna give any numbers on that. But yeah, so my old band Apotheosis with our debut EP from 2017, Cursed Vengeful Eternity. So I hope you guys enjoyed this cassette tag. It's a bit different for me to show all these tapes and stuff, but it is fun nonetheless. Go check out the channel I mentioned earlier, Two from the Trunk, and I'll catch y'all later. Keep it greasy.